Hi, I'm Roman Horoszewski. I'm an artist and woodcarver here in Princeton Junction, New Jersey. I've always been fairly artistic as a child, always drawing and painting. And I also grew up in a family using a lot of tools. And it was just kind of a natural blend of the two. And I've always liked working with wood. And so it was, I don't know, it was just kind of happened over time. It's kind of like drawing in wood to a certain degree. Not completely. It's a little bit different than drawing or painting in the sense that wood carving or stone carving, it's a subtractive art as opposed to an additive art. In painting, you're adding paint to the canvas, or in drawing, you're adding pencil to the page. But in carving, you're taking away. So you kind of have to find what you're looking for in the wood. And so you're working with material that is not necessarily always forgiving to you. There are sometimes hidden flaws in it. You have to be cognizant of the grain of the wood and which direction the grain is running. The type of wood. Wood runs in a broad range of hardness. And there's a scale to measure the hardness called the Janka scale. It can range from something like, I think most people are familiar with balsa wood, which is very soft, all the way up to woods like bloodwood and ironwood, which are incredibly hard. I've worked with bloodwood before, and it has literally chipped my steel tools. It's so hard. And so you have to be cognizant of what you're working with that way, and when you're designing things. It's a process like anything else, and you plan it out, you work through the steps. I draw the designs out on paper, and then begin working through. It starts out with roughing it out, cutting the wood to rough size. And I finish all of my carvings by hand, but I still use machines, table saws and band saws and drill presses to get basic shapes. If I did all that by hand, it would take me forever to do. But all the finished surfaces are all done by hand, and all the basic carving is done by hand. And it's it's a really nice way to come out here and disconnect. You're not on a computer or on your phone or anything like that. And it's really, I kind of come out here and lose myself. I get a tremendous satisfaction out of making something with my hands. At the end of the day, hey, here it is, and and it's for for someone a client that's asked me to make them something, and they really enjoy it, and it's just something different. But mainly, more than anything, it's just because I enjoy doing it. It's a satisfaction to go from something in my head that I then put on paper, and then I put a lot of work into it, and at the end of the day, there's this finished product that people are like, wow, that's really nice. So I'm self-taught. There are different master carvers from around the world that have websites with video lessons and things. So I've done a lot of that and watching those. But unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of apprenticing myself to a master wood carver that they're going to teach you a lot of tricks. So I've learned a lot over time by making a lot of mistakes. So hopefully I make a mistake once, I don't make the mistake again. So any advice on the path if you're going to pick up any hobby, whether it be woodworking or pottery or anything of the craft, I would just say go ahead and do it. That's the main thing, is just to go ahead and do it. I know it seems like, especially among men, they're very often like, I get the comment a lot. I've been to some art shows, and they're like, wow, I've always wanted to do woodworking. And I was always kind of that way until a few years ago, and I'm like, I just decided to finally just to do it. And for me, it's a bit of a passion. I mean, there is an investment in it, obviously, in terms of money and time, but I get more out of it than I've put into it. But mainly, it's just, you got to just kind of get off the fence and just finally decide, hey, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to try it. And for a lot of different things, I'm sure there are classes at different community colleges or different art schools that you can certainly go to try your hand at it. But more than anything, is just get out there and try it and see what happens. One of the unique things I actually do with my wood, and if you look at a lot of the number of pieces I do, there's a broad variety of color in them. However, I don't use any paint, stains, or dyes in any of my work. All of the work is the natural color of the wood. And a lot of people don't realize it, but wood comes in literally the entire rainbow of colors, from purple and then all the way across the spectrum back to red. You can get pretty much any color in between, including blues and yellows and greens. So people are quite surprised at that, and that's one of the things that kind of little trademark that I have is is using the full color of rainbow of the woods. When I've gone to museums and you see, they have a little furniture section. I'll sit and look at I'll look at the carved furniture and look at it and go, wow, that's a masterpiece. Hopefully I can at someday be able to carve like that. But what actually gives me a little bit of confidence when I do that is that when you look at it from a distance, it's beautiful. But when I go up and look at it really closely, and I'll take I look at it a little bit different than maybe a lot of people do, just because of the fact that I do carves. I'll look at it and I'll see, oh, that's not quite perfect. There's a little bit of mistakes here and there, and you realize that even the masters weren't perfect at what they did. Or you realize, wow, they didn't try to be perfect because they're creating not an illusion, but it wasn't meant to be looked at really up close. And they did some quick cuts here and there, but when you look at it from a distance, it looks beautiful. It's only when you get up close you realize, oh, it's just kind of choppy shortcuts. And so that also gives me a lot of ideas, and it teaches me lessons, and then also says, wow, I don't have to be absolutely perfect in what you do. Yeah, I feel a connection with the past, and you'll look at these tools, and then you'll sometimes see an older tool with a number of names on it, and you realize that as a craftsman who works with hand tools, that I don't own my tools in a sense. I'm a caretaker for them, because realizing that more than likely somebody 100 years from now will be using those tools. So I'm just here to take care of them in the meantime and use them, and then they'll get passed on down. So yeah, you do feel a connection with the past and the future in a sense. The past, yeah, I have this tool that's 150 years old and another name on it, but I'll have it for a period of time, and guess what? This gouge will be good for another 150 years, and who knows who'll have it now. So you're kind of more not even as much a connection with the past as you're part of a continuum that stretches into the past and will stretch into the future long after I'm gone. So if you're looking to take a look at more of my work or contact me about having a piece commissioned, you can find me on Facebook at RH Woodcarving, or you can email me at rhcarving@gmail.com.